if a vampire film went beyond bloodlust and jump scares to dive into something truly soulful, that's exactly what Sinners does. In his first original blockbuster, Ryan Coogler takes us to 1930s Mississippi, reimagining vampires through black spirituality and the blues. It's a genre-bending horror that blends haunting visuals, powerful metaphors, soul-stirring music, and edge-of-your-seat suspense. So sit back, because I'm about to show you why Sinners is perfect. In Sinners, vampirism represents a spiritual void, a haunting presence that mirrors the generational trauma and unresolved grief rooted in Black American experience. Coogler reframes the vampire as a symbol of cultural erosion, colonial violence, and the seductive threat of forgetting who you are. Meanwhile, the history of blues as a tool for liberation and spiritual reckoning is central. The blues in Sinners is more than just ambience, it's invocation. Juke joints like churches become sacred spaces of healing where ancestral voices are summoned, and spiritual warfare is fought through rhythm and soul. Annie, Smoke's estranged wife, embodies ancestral knowledge and spiritual protection, reinforcing that liberation is both physical and spiritual, passed down through prayer, ritual, and belief. Sammy, a gifted musician and the reverend's son, is caught between the sacred and the secular. His blues music becomes a spiritual force, calling forth community and spirits alike. His father's warning, "If you keep playing with the devil, one day he'll follow you home," rings true as his music transcends entertainment and becomes potent ritual. Through Annie's rituals and Sammy's music, Sinners redefines vampirism, presenting Black spirituality as salvation. Vampires are not simply monsters, but souls trapped between worlds, feeding to fill an unnameable void. One of the film's most transcendent moments unfolds in a single uninterrupted shot. Sammy performs at the juke joint. As the music builds, the walls begin to melt away in flames. Time unravels. Traditional West African percussion morphs into Delta blues, gospel, rock, funk, and finally hip-hop. Shot in IMAX, this sequence is immersive and overwhelming, invoking centuries of Black music and spiritual legacy. It's a ritual that calls forth ancestors and awakens buried memory. But the vampires also catch wind of the power of the song, acting as the inciting incident for the horror to come, transforming sanctuary into battleground. In Sinners, vampirism departs from Eurocentric portrayals, offering a seductive promise of unity while masking cultural erasure. Remek's poignant question, "What does it mean to be undead when society never let you live in the first place?" frames vampirism as a metaphor for escape from a society that denies Black humanity while imposing uncontrollable violence upon its victims. Music, as a sacred ritual, challenges forces that consume without remembrance, with Black spirituality guiding the film's path to healing and liberation. What really makes Sinners land? The performances. Each one layered, emotional, and totally locked into the heart of the film. Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of the Smokestack twins is a masterclass in acting. Mastering one character for the big screen is tough enough, but Jordan inhabits the minds of two distinct characters, each with their own unique sensibilities, quirks, and swagger, while still representing the bond that exists between twins. Smoke, in particular, is a calculated stoic leader with a deep wound from the death of his baby. The pain that shapes his understanding of his spirituality and his relationship with Annie is rich and complex, while Stack is impulsive, charismatic, and empathetic to the struggles of his people. It's also clearly evident that he struggles with the dilemma of protecting Mary or having the love that he wants. The tragic final scene where Smoke attempts to roll a cigarette and trembles so much he can't complete the task echoes the first time we see him, his brother Stack handing him a freshly rolled cigarette. The moment poignantly illustrates how the brothers rely on each other, making the ending all the more devastating. Jack O'Connell's performance as Remek was enthralling. He fully embraced his Irish roots in moments where Remek felt most connected to his vampire peers, such as during scenes of dancing and singing. O'Connell could shift seamlessly from being deathly terrifying to warmly welcoming, perfectly embodying a character whose justification for violence seems sincere, even when it's deeply unsettling. Miles Caton, in his first feature film, plays Sammy with surprising maturity. He truly becomes the heart of the film, carrying the weight of innocence and resilience until the very end. His voice, especially when he sings, fills the theater with a deep, warm melody that brings levity whenever the narrative turns dark. Wunmi Mosaku's portrayal of Annie is beautifully nuanced. Despite her natural British accent, her southern accent is convincingly authentic, and she exudes a natural instinct to protect. One of my favorite moments comes early in the film when Smoke questions her magic and she corrects him by saying, "How do you know my magic did not work, as if I didn't pray for you every day?" In that scene, she strikes such a delicate balance between desperation and authority. Delroy Lindo brings a powerful comedic energy to the film, and Hailee Steinfeld brings such a rich sorrow of longing for Stack's love in every line. Together, these performances elevate Sinners beyond a traditional genre piece, grounding it in rich, heartfelt human connection. Coogler's Sinners serves as a spiritual successor to Jordan Peele's horror trilogy, synthesizing key themes from his films. From Get Out, it explores cultural erasure through vampirism. From Us, it delves into duality and trauma versus liberation. And from Nope, it critiques the commodification of trauma. Coogler takes Peele's sharp social commentary and transforms it into folklore, fire, and ritual. The result is a genre-bending horror musical that reclaims horror for the theater, culture, and the ancestors. Visually, Sinners is groundbreaking, shot on Ultra Panavision 70 and IMAX 15 Perf, the first film to combine these formats. Coogler and his director of photography, Autumn Arkapour, used these ratios not just for scale, but for storytelling, capturing the Mississippi Delta's isolation and expanding sequences into IMAX to embody the film's spiritual breath. Every stylistic choice serves the film's soulful tone, making it a love letter to cinema as ritual, not just entertainment. Coogler explains, "We made Sinners for the theatrical experience." Select scenes were shown in true IMAX 15 Perf, with formats like 4DX, ScreenX, and Dolby HDR enhancing its haunting beauty across the globe. By blending formats and prioritizing practical effects, Coogler elevates the genre beyond gore. The visual language mirrors the film's emotional depth, where horror becomes about reverence, memory, and transcendence. In a market dominated by reboots and franchises, Sinners broke through, opening with a $61 million weekend globally. It's proof that audiences want new, resonant stories. Sinners shows what happens when Black stories are not flattened by trauma, but elevated by imagination. Its success confirms that audiences crave original stories. Coogler has created a film dedicated to reviving the experience of going to the movies. So in conclusion, Sinners is a celebration of what cinema can be when it remembers its roots, not just storytelling, but ceremony.